Hello and welcome to the official Haters Premier League Roundup show. I'm your host, Aaron Goldstein, and today I'm joined by former Crystal Palace pro Lewis Byron and Aisha Galati to talk about all things Premier League. Let's skip the small talk, get straight to it. The top two went head-to-head. It was a fantastic weekend of Premier League football. And as per usual, it was all about the referees. The main talking point from City versus Arsenal, that Trossard red card. Lewis, opinions?
For me, I mean, I know a lot of Arsenal fans aren't happy. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm definitely not too happy with it. He's made the first foul, okay, and the ref's blown his whistle. He's then carried on with his action he would do, split seconds after, kicked the ball away a little bit, the direction the ball was going. And then the refs, I think, realised, right, he's seen two half offences there, and he's thought, right, I need to give a yellow here. Like, there's one, if they were both separate, I don't think either of them are a yellow card. But them together, I think that's what, in the split second, has made him give that the second yellow. Officially,
the second yellow has been given for delaying the restart. It was nothing to do with the foul, according to the official Premier League account. So, Aisha, with no Arsenal allegiance that you don't have, you're a Man United fan, I believe.
I am, yes. For my sins.
What's your personal opinion? Forget the foul.
Yeah.
The ball's been kicked away, red card or not?
I think it's stupid from Trossard, absolutely idiotic. He's seen his teammate Rice get sent off for something similar in recent weeks. So, surely the first thing you do is just not repeat that offence. You know the referees are going to be giving it. Whether or not they're being consistent about it is a separate story. You know that you have the potential to be sent off in that moment. So what are you doing? You're letting your team down. You are. And it is silly. And he deserved the second yellow. So.
Go on, Lewis. I saw that little breath. You were ready.
I just think the time frame from when the whistle was blown and then he's ended up kicking the ball, his mind frame was in that.
Sky said it was 0.7 seconds from the whistle being blown.
You can't change your mindset and what you want to do, your action that quickly. So he sort of half just left his leg out.
Fight, go for it.
You can't. He's not done that thinking, right, I'm going to kick the ball away and delay their restart. He's done it thinking that's what I was going to do, and he's just heard the whistle before. Oh,
see, I actually totally disagree. I think these Arsenal players, and not just Arsenal, but players are almost taught to find these ways of, I guess, cheating a little bit because to try and delay the restart, that puts the other team on the back foot, and because they've not been penalised until now, really, for doing that, it's been ingrained in them. So it's almost an instinct. I agree with you. It's a short time, but it's almost instinct that they're just going, this is, kick it away or make it slower for them without actually thinking, I'm on a yellow card. My teammate got sent off for this a few weeks ago. What might happen? It is that instinctive thing to try and delay play.
Let's carry this debate on in just a second, because we've obviously heard from all the managers this weekend, and Arteta basically is saying that he thinks red cards can be coming left, right, and centre now.
I think it's not necessary to comment it. It's the second time. So I'm expecting 100 Premier League games this season to play 10 against 11 or 10 against 10 or 9 against 10. Let's see.
It is a weird one because, so we're going to carry on with Trossard because there were so many different atrocious decisions. It wasn't just Arsenal this weekend that made football fans think this is ridiculous. And so I don't want there to be a whole, there's a conspiracy against Arsenal, but let's carry on with Trossard for a second. So delaying the restart with this Trossard second yellow, he's booted the ball away. So if it is delaying the restart, then fine, fair enough. But it was the last action of the half. Trossard, in that 0.7 second time frame, that he's probably booting the ball upfield and thinking to himself, let's get the ball clear so that City can't come and attack us. So I do see both sides of it. If you're going by letter of the law, which for all intents and purposes, I think if you're using that sentence, the letter of the law, it's because you're defending something stupid, in my opinion. It's like driving at 31, you'd like on a 30 road. Yes, you're technically breaking the law, but you're not really going to get called up on it. And if you do, it's just annoying. But this doesn't happen to other teams. And it doesn't. It doesn't. The same referee, the exact same referee 1 week previously, doesn't book Dominic Szoboszlai for doing the exact same thing. And Szoboszlai is on a yellow card. Arsenal fans have a right, as all Premier League fans do, to feel hard done by. What is your opinion there on the consistency
Yeah.
factor?
No, maybe that's true. I don't want to go into like all of that, and I don't think Arsenal. The world is not against Arsenal, as much as you might like to think so. But I get the point of consistency. But consistency is a problem, not just with these decisions. Referee consistency is this ongoing debate, and it's hard because there's a human element to it. Was that intentional? On another day, Michael Oliver might have taken that view that you just took, that it's the end of the half. He's actually just trying to, boot the ball away to get rid of the danger. And that consistency piece is difficult to make sure it always is the same. So, yeah, it's a hard one.
Look, Arsenal have clearly rattled the league. They've clearly rattled Manchester City. But Pep was quite complimentary.
Quick throw-ins, quick. And play there in that position. You have to know, in that level, this is one of the best teams of the world, Arsenal, but by far. All actions, how they defend, how they attack in short, in long, and many things. They're really good. And this time of mistakes at the end, we punish them. I thought it was a mistake that I had, but as a captain, what else to do? The referee go there, right? But someone has to avoid the cross, and you have to organize all the time. We improve.
So, for Arsenal fans feeling really annoyed and peed off by the referee, Manchester City fans, if there are any of them out there, they are also, he is apparently very annoyed about the first goal that Arsenal scored, the Calafiori goal, because the referee calls over the two captains, and apparently Kyle Walker doesn't have enough time to get back to set his defensive position. Is that a load of nonsense, or am I looking with tinted goggles?
No, for me, that's a load of nonsense. If after every restart, we have to wait for the other team to take their time and get back in the positions they want to be in, then that's just giving them a massive advantage. What's the point of playing quick? And what's the point of running back in your positions as early as you can as a footballer? Kyle Walker was chatting to the ref, facing the wrong way, walking back very slowly after he got dismissed by the ref. He had plenty of time to get back in shape. Why would we, Arsenal, wait for them to be perfectly set before we go and try and attack?
Well, also, if you're going by the letter of the law, which apparently is what everyone wants to do, that goal shouldn't stand anyway because Arsenal take a quick free kick. Quick free kick shouldn't be taken. Aisha, what do you think? Are Arsenal fans clutching at straws?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Walker should have been sprinting back. Totally agree. He had to speak to the ref, but you're going to have to speak to the ref over the course of the game. And he should have shown more urgency. You saw him jogging back. If you've had to speak to the ref, speed it up a bit, get back in position. But also, Calafiori's goal, I don't think Kyle Walker's doing much about that, even if he is in perfect position.
It's an unbelievable finish.
Yeah.
It really is. Your first Premier League goal in one of the big games. Let's quickly carry on with referees, because obviously the game itself was very interesting, whether you're, have any allegiance or you're the neutral. But Lewis, you've been a professional, a Premier League registered professional. How does it work with the referees, the pre-season briefings?
Yeah.
Do the refs come in? Do you all just sit there silently and behave?
It's basically like, the refs will come in before the season starts, and it's almost like a teacher and kids in the class. You all just sit there. They explain if there's going to be any new rules for the season and what exactly they mean, how they can penalise, and then also they go back over the previous year. For example, I remember Wilfried Zaha used to say, this game you gave me this decision, why? And then they'd sort of have it out and have a little conversation, just so the players understand the situation the refs are in and why they're making the decisions they're doing.
But it's a really tough one to say, because you don't really want to accuse referees of being biased or things. It's not what we want to do. But sometimes it's just the inconsistencies don't make any sense. Do the players nibble back?
At what?
At the referee. If a ref comes in and gives you a whole little talking to, speaking to the whole squad, and Zaha, for example, says, "Why'd you give me that decision?" Surely he knows. You just felt like it that day, and you didn't the next week when I did it again. Yeah. Is there confrontation? Are you allowed to speak back to the referees? Is it a bit more open?
Yeah, that's what it's for. The refs almost want a bit of confrontation there, so they have it less during the season. I mean, Zaha was the main one. He'd be constantly saying, "Well, you're saying that's the rule, but this game you didn't give me that," and the refs would, hold their hands up. So yeah, they definitely have it out a little bit.
Aisha,
sorry, I've got a question on that. When you say the ref would hold their hands up, what would they actually say? They'd say, "Oh, you're right on that."
They'd say you're right on that. That was the incorrect decision, and we got it wrong.
Okay, that's accountability is good.
My God, at the start of the 25-26 season, If all the refs come in and do it,
No. So you have like 2 or 3 that will come into one club. Yeah.
I guarantee you, Michael Oliver and Chris Kavanagh will not dare turn up
not-
to the Arsenal one next season, or you'll see the whole squad battering them. Absolutely,
They actually would. That would go into it. I think they wouldn't turn up to the Arsenal one, maybe. Yeah. Or maybe they specifically would.
I mean, we'll talk about Arsenal decisions in a second, but let's understand the world doesn't revolve around Arsenal Football Club. There were other games this weekend, and there were also other poor decisions. Let's go straight to Tottenham. How has Vicario not been sent off, Aisha?
I have absolutely no idea. They said that VAR.
He's playing hot potato.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, anyone who watches that knows that he handballed that outside the box. I don't think that's actually up for dispute. So surely that is a potential red card offence, and therefore it should be looked at by VAR. I actually don't understand why it wasn't.
And against your former team, Crystal Palace, we saw one of the worst tackles ever. Although, yes, it didn't hurt anybody, but that's not the point. Lisandro Martinez comes lunging in. He looks very funny. The memes are great. But he's endangering a fellow professional.
Yeah, well, that's a career-ending tackle. If someone's on the end of it, especially if their leg's planted, that's a career-ending tackle. Like you said, it doesn't matter if he's not touched anyone, because that's due to the speed of someone getting out of the way or not going in for the tackle due to his reckless behaviour.
It is absolutely mental. And I just think that there's something about referee consistency that needs to be looked into. So yes, Arsenal fans should feel hard done by. It's happened time and time again. Of course, decisions go Arsenal's way as well. You think back last season where Ødegaard handballs it at Anfield and everyone's up in arms. Oh, this is disgraceful. But again, Liverpool did score a couple of minutes later. But for every Ødegaard handball, there's a ridiculous handball decision that goes against Arsenal. And over the last few years, Arsenal haven't really been that dirty of a team. They've never been in the top 13 teams of 20 in terms of fouls committed over the course of a season. Yet they've got 7-8 more red cards than anybody else. It is kind of weird. No other. Have we seen that Martinelli red card against? I know it's years ago now. That Martinelli red card against the 2 yellow cards in the space of a second. You've got the David Luiz red card against Wolves, where he's been sent off because someone else tripped. There's been so many instances where Arsenal fans do feel hard done by. Aisha,
Yeah,
are we just rambling?
I think so. Yes, because you might not
Really?
be you might not be like a dirty team, but there's other elements to getting carded, which we sort of spoke about earlier. Those, time wasting things, the other things, and also Arsenal have been quite hot-headed, like not necessarily making those dirty tackles, but being quite like yappy. And I think that comes from Arteta as well. Like when you're seeing your boss, who is, I really actually hate the way he conducts himself on the sideline. He's always out of the box he's supposed to be in. Always kicking off, always making these sarky comments in his post-match interview. You're meant to be leading by example, and he's not the only culprit. I think Pep's not great either, but I just think it sets quite a bad example. And if you see your boss behaving like that, then I think the players are going to sort of play up to it as well and start kicking off and playing up to it.
I'll agree with you in some aspect. I think Arteta, he's quite petulant at
Yeah, just a
times.
bit.
And I mean, the funny meme is always at Villa Park when he's making fun. Like, yeah, of course, he's acting like a child at times there. But then again, it comes to the point where, is it that you don't like Arteta as you don't like that he's Arsenal? Because it sometimes feels, when you're watching, that you think Arsenal players are going to get more harshly treated. Arsenal managers are going to get more harshly treated. Arteta, remember, he got a ban last season for celebrating a 96th minute winner. What do you want him to do? Sit politely and clap? Oh, well done, Arsenal. Sometimes they just get booked for things that other teams, it doesn't feel like they get booked for. And that is factual. Literally evidenced by one referee giving one decision to Trossard 1 week after not giving the exact same call to another player in the previous week. It is bizarre. And look, all Premier League fans should be angered by the showbiz that it becomes. The fact is, we just had a fantastic weekend of football. It was a really good game, and we're going to talk about it now. The referees are just the main talking point. It shouldn't be that way. But Arteta, you clearly you're not his biggest fan, but do you not think it's a compliment that everyone is so rattled by Arsenal?
I said last week, I think Arsenal are great. Like that, they are a brilliant team. There's no denying that. So and again, it's not that I don't like Arteta. It's just I think he's a brilliant manager. I just don't really like the way he conducts himself on the sideline. And he's not the only manager, but he stands out. And yeah, people are rattled by Arsenal because they're a good team. And Man City and Arsenal, that match yesterday, that first half was just a great match of football. And actually, the second half, Arsenal should be incredibly proud of the way they defended and held City almost winning that match. Not quite, but yeah, I mean, they were forcing City to shoot from miles away. They just couldn't get through. And you're thinking, like, when are City going to take advantage of having the extra man? And they just couldn't. And that is testament to the way Arteta set up his team.
Yeah, Lewis, how should you go about that? So Arsenal are down to 10 men. They're obviously going to park the bus, contrary to popular belief that they should go out and try and score more and leave themselves vulnerable. When Liverpool were at the Etihad with 10 men, they lost 5-0, if you remember, a while back. So from a coaching perspective, what do you think your former managers, coaches, players, what would you have done? How do you break that down?
How do you break down what Arsenal...
How do you break down a low block like that?
It's near impossible. It is so hard to do. It is really just repeat. How long can you maintain your focus and repeat the same actions over and over with the same quality? So can you keep moving them from side to side 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes until one of the Arsenal players comes out of shape, gets a bit too tired, a lapse in concentration, and that's when you have a high quality players that can find the gaps. Arsenal didn't really do that. It was a set piece that, you know, it was a little scramble and then they got the goal. I mean, we were really tired that last 5-10 minutes, weren't we? I thought I was really impressed with Arsenal defending, despite us conceding that.
One major talking point as well from that game was Rodri going off injured. Rodri was, sensational for Manchester City last season. He's a front runner to win the Ballon d'Or this time round, and he literally said, was it last week, we're going to get injured. The matches are coming thick and fast. Does that give Arsenal a little bit of an edge in the title race with a player like Rodri maybe being out for a while? They're saying it could be up to months.
Yeah, I mean, for Arsenal, that can only be a good thing that Rodri's out. I mean, what was Havertz doing to him in that first minute though? Was that a tactic?
Well, you say I'm reading both sides. I do think Arsenal came right out of the blocks looking to be proper bullies,
Yeah.
and credit to them, in my opinion, because I'm not complaining, and I don't think the Arsenal players are complaining, but Erling Haaland did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland clatters into Gabriel, clatters into Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
No one bats an eyelid. Arsenal are not that little come over here and walk us over team that they used to be.
Yeah.
But it's great. Arsenal are rattling everyone. It's really good for the neutral. I kind of don't want Man City to get relegated, to put down a couple of leagues, because I want these kind of games going again and again and again.
Yeah.
Well, if you allow the best team in the world, which are Man City, they have the best players. If you allow them to play their game, normally they're going to go and win. You have to upset them some way, whether that's being more physical, being a little push and a pull here, something that's not going to allow them to play how they want to play. Because if they do, they're a better team. They're going to win.
Look, we could talk about Arsenal, Man City all day. And do you know what? We probably will. So if you've got any comments, please do get them in, because we will come back to them later on in the show. But let's carry on a little bit and talk about the other teams, giving you all the time in the world to get your Arsenal questions, your Man City questions, make them good and juicy. Away from the top, Chelsea are starting to look like the real deal. Convincing away win at West Ham, with Nicholas Jackson suddenly finding his feet. Has Enzo Maresca unearthed a gem?
In terms of numbers, goal and assist, since I arrived here, he's doing well. Off the ball, again, he's working hard. And I said the other day, if a player misses 1 chance or 2 chances, it doesn't mean that he's not playing well. It can happen. All the players, they miss chances. The important is the complete performance. And against Bournemouth, it was a good performance from Nicolas. Then the last 10 minutes, we changed something. Christo was inside, was top, score, win the game. And this is what we expected from all of them.
Well, apparently the comments are all coming through about dodgy sound. Is it dodgy defending from West Ham, or Chelsea just too good?
Chelsea too good. I don't know about that. West Ham looked poor, especially early on in the game, didn't they? But Nicholas Jackson, he's always, to me, had the attributes to be a world-class or near world-class attacking player. You know, he's quick, he is composed in front of goal, and he can travel with the ball well, we can run him behind well. So for me, it's just a matter of time of him feeling like he's valued in the team, he's a valued member of a team, and he can get them starts and get his confidence up. And he's in that headspace now where he feels like, right, this team relies on me. His confidence is up, and he's producing probably the best football he's produced at Chelsea.
Aisha, do you think Chelsea are front runners for the top 4?
I think Chelsea looked really good at the weekend, and It's funny because when Man City beat West Ham 3-1, I think it was all, oh, Man City are the team to beat. They're amazing, blah, blah, blah. And Chelsea beat West Ham 3-0. And it's like, oh, West Ham were appalling. So there is a bit of feel a little bit bad for Chelsea. And I don't like saying that. But I thought they were brilliant. I thought Jackson's goals were great. Cole Palmer's goal, brilliant. And yeah, I think they look really good. And there's no reason why they can't challenge for top 4.
West Ham have brought in so many good players this summer, and then for them to lose 3 home games in a row, it's the first time they've done it in their club's history. How long has Lopetegui got to turn this around? What do you think?
Oh, it's a tricky one. I never like trying to boot a manager.
You're
out.
in football now. You've got to be evil.
Yeah, I think they need to get results, right? Like third defeat in 5 matches. A manager is only as good as his results. He needs to start winning, otherwise he is going to be out.
Yeah, I just think I hate the model of getting in a manager and then giving them no time, regardless of results. You know, if they lose the first 5 or 6, you've still got to give the manager time and show your belief in him. I just think you're fighting a losing battle when the manager's style is maybe some say a bit negative or a bit defensive. So I think that also makes it harder, because when you're not winning and the performances also look negative, then it's two different things that you can push on him.
I love reading what fans say about their clubs. And so you've obviously played in quite a few good teams. How important is your captain? Some West Ham fans think, look, Jarrod Bowen is a fantastic player. He scored one of the best, most important goals in the club's history. He's not captain material. What do you need in a captain?
What do you need in a captain? I mean, sometimes in the dressing rooms, the captain can have more influence than the manager, especially if the manager's new. And if the captain does... You know, if the captain's not having the manager, he can bring a few players with him, and then that's where it starts to really go downhill for the manager, and then it's like it's impossible to get that back. But you want your captain to to translate your manager's philosophy on the pitch. He's got to carry out his wishes on the pitch and help manage that team.
Liverpool recovered from their shock home loss to Nottingham Forest with a thoroughly convincing 3-0 win against Bournemouth. Luis Diaz at the double, Darwin Núñez getting his first this season. Arne Slot, not short of attacking options, is he?
No, that's what I noticed as well, and that's of course I play a striker because I like him to score goals. I play a winger because I like them to assist or to score goals. Because if you want to win a game, you need to score goals. But it also helps if you keep a clean sheet. And we just spoke about the lead up to both goals. Ibu was involved in this. But by keeping a clean sheet, Darwin is also involved in this because of the reasons you just told me. So first and foremost, they have to work really hard for the team. And then in the beginning of the season, it was Mo who made the difference with Lucio. Then it was Cody and Diogo who's been involved in goals. And today it was Lucio and Darwin. So that's all we want to see.
Okay, Aisha, Liverpool's best front 3, your opinion?
Salah, Diaz, Jota.
No Gakpo, who had a fantastic Euros, and no Núñez.
I think the jury's still out on Núñez. Gakpo, yeah, he had a great Euros. I don't think he's been as good as he can be yet for Liverpool. But I just think like you've got that ability to rotate and just use it. Like I don't think it needs to be the best 3. I think keep finding those combinations that are going to work. It's a team that have great options, and yeah, just use them.
Yeah, I agree with that front 3. I think Luis Diaz and Salah are shoo-ins, and then Jota and who's
Gakpo.
Jota and Gakpo. It's up for debate, but from what I've seen with Jota and from what I've actually heard from players that have played against him, they've always said he's one of the hardest players they've played against. Ben White's come out and said the toughest winger he's played against has been Jota. I think he's very underrated. I think he's one of Liverpool's best players, and I'd start him in that front 3, definitely.
But do you not think you could drop him a little bit more into a midfieldy kind of position? And because you're basically saying Darwin Núñez, what did Liverpool pay for him? Was it 70-something million? He is absolute chaos. Yes, he loves missing chances, but we've seen in the Premier League that there's so many good strikers out there that miss chance after chance. I think Núñez is one of the best strikers around, just because you don't know what to expect, and he can create something out of nothing.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect, but sometimes you can look at a team, look at a match, and think a player's not playing well. But he might be carrying out the manager's wishes a lot better than the other. And I think Jota does that really well. He's very industrious, but you can tell he understands football, and he understands the game a bit better than Nunes. I think positioning, decision making.
Yeah. Look, aside from Liverpool, Man United failed to beat Crystal Palace in a match that was all really about the goalkeepers. Henderson and Onana were fantastic. We'll come on to them in a moment, but the main talking point prior to the match on TV and with all the fans was, why on earth was Marcus Rashford dropped?
11 players, but we have to give all the players, if they perform, we will give them the chances. And finally we will find out, of course, the players who perform better will play more. But this has nothing to do. I'm very happy with Marcus, with everything, with his defending part, with his offensive. He scores in this moment. So yeah, he performs very good. And so nothing to do with it that he was on the bench, just rotation.
All right, Aisha, the floor is yours. Why was Marcus Rashford really dropped?
It's a strange one, isn't it? There's nothing that's come out in the media about late nights or anything like that. But based on his form that he's found in the last few games, he should have been starting, in my opinion. We spoke last week about the ketchup bottle that Ten Hag described him as, and if that is the case, once he gets going, let him keep going. I don't think he had long enough at the weekend to make the impact that he could have potentially have made. But who knows whether he would have made the impact. I mean, Garnacho nearly scored in the first 15 minutes or whenever it was when he hit the crossbar. And Garnacho is a great choice as well. I don't know. I think I want to see more of Marcus Rashford this season based on what we've seen from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think Man United have quite a few good options. One thing that was really nice to see was Andre Onana showing his actual class. He was really good. Three clean sheets for United already this season. Dean Henderson was also fantastic. But is Onana actually good?
Yeah, of course he is. Like you said, United have such a spotlight on them that any mistake gets a lot of scrutiny. But Onana, I've been really impressed with how he's come out and spoken to the media and in interviews. He wants to take the responsibility on his shoulders and wants to sort of be that sort of, I want to say, that big presence and big figure in the United team. And having someone like that in goal, that's a big presence, a big figure, regardless of whether they're making the saves or not making the saves, it does help the rest of the team.
It felt like Dean Henderson was really on a mission to prove himself as well. It was a few seasons ago, he was very much in that front running to be United's number one, ended up not working out, and he's at Palace now and doing a decent job, but at the weekend he was really on fire.
Yeah, I thought Palace look really interesting under Glasner. End of last season, everyone knows how good they were. Obviously, they've got a massive void left by Michael Elise, who is doing sensationally well at Bayern Munich already. It looks like that gap's going to be filled by Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Eddie Nketiah, for me, he's a striker. That's his best position. That should be his only position. I don't like him out on the right. And if Palace fans think him out on the right is going to fill that Elise position, I think they'll be very shocked. It's going to be a battle for Palace this season. I think it's going to be up and down. They're going to have to really work hard in every game to get anything out of him, I think. So same as most seasons with Palace, but yeah, I'd just play Nketiah in his best position. I think he's at his best a better striker than Mateta at his best. So play him there.
Ooh, that was maybe somewhat controversial. Spurs went 1-0 down quicker than I can probably get to the end of this sentence, but they did turn it around, and Ange Postecoglou's men got their first points on the board since that Everton win a few weeks ago. Spurs ooze class going forward, and Postecoglou believes that his side are one of the best on the continent.
I mean, I think objective measures would say we're probably the best in the league, probably one of the best in Europe in terms of our pressurising. And I thought it was going to be important today because, like I said, you saw Brentford, they tried to play out from the back, which is an opportunity for us to really try and win the ball in high areas, which I thought we did. And, we created some unbelievable opportunities from it, including the first goal, and probably could have got a couple more out of it.
Who's got a better cough, you or Ange Postecoglou? Will Spurs have to sacrifice the league a little bit to go far in the Europa League, or is it? Do you think they've got a good enough squad to do both?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves because I think you only really talk about sacrificing games here and there towards the end of the season at least a little bit further along the season when you know I guess, which one you really have the best chance of going for. So I think it's too early to say, to be honest. But what I would say was that Spurs were decent at the weekend. I think 23 attempts on goal, and they looked like a team ready to prove they go on and do a bit better.
Can they win it? Yeah, of course. I think they really need to go out of that competition early and then have a lot, which will be really to finish top 4, which really up in the air. So have a big focus on Europa League. I think one of their mind.
Yeah, I think Tottenham have a really coming together this season, and everyone. Sorry to move the conversation back to Arsenal. People say that as soon as Arsenal went down to 10, played pathetically. Tottenham should have gone down to 10 men. Much of a difference, or are they just too good for?
I think if they went down to 10 men, I'm not sure they would have into them almost that bank of 6 and the bank of 3 would have been their downfall. I feel like, because when you do have a player, it does make a big difference. You do need to make the space a lot less, and that's when you get opened up by good teams.
James Maresca.
Yeah, and the shout out for Mbeumo's goal as well. So good. And it's good for Solanke to get it. Spurs fans will be pleased about that.
Lots of English players. Comments coming through for us to get to. If hopefully not audio ones.
There are a few of those. We've got Nina away from the top. Chelsea were above Arsenal for an enjoyable moment this year. We had Arteta is the worst person on earth because he stands outside of his box, throws a ball at someone's head.
Oh, you started. Here we go. We've got an Arsenal hater, but no, we have an Arsenal lover.
And I would just like to clarify that I don't condone Gabriel's head either. I think it should be cut off. In our poll, the draw, we have Pep with Mikel Arteta's got 30% of the vote, and neither is 10%. Fans saying that Man City should be.
That's because they nicked it last minute. I think before the game, happier. Would you not think so?
I think if you ask better before the game, would you take a point? Every Arsenal fan and Arteta at half time, would you take a point? The Arsenal fan at the 97th minute, would you take a point? No.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, fine. But
poll, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a hindsight poll.
Yeah,
very
substantial thing. Of course it is. I think the way for Arsenal fans, but like you said, a brilliant result.
Please do keep your comments coming through about the referees. We'd love to get back to that before we end the show. Through the rest of the league, we'll go right from the top of the table and scrap hotting up already. The 4 front runners, nobody made any ground. And it was 2-1 all draws. Now, Lewis, yes. I want your 3 going down.
I think Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich will go down. Nothing on the 3 I've mentioned to go down. It's more the fact that, and that I'll just take any sort of analysis of it and the benefit of the doubt now.
You agree?
Yeah, I'm okay, Lewis, it seems. But yeah, I agree. I think about the promoted teams going down. I think that gap is getting. None of those 3 teams have shown me anything. They've got what it takes to stay up.
I'm really sorry to do you, and it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. They do it every year, Everton, but it can't. They are rubbish. They really are rubbish. Have a new takeover imminently, but bad season after season, and keep on getting away with it. Leicester, I think, will go down, and I think it's between Ipswich and
out of them 2. I think Ipswich stay up if it is between them.
Me the same. Really bizarrely as season, all of them from outside the box. box? Is it that they league football and they just need to wallop it in from wherever? Team that realistically doesn't possess the quality that the Premier League disrespect to Ipswich. They've come up from the Championship. You're going to have to resort to long shots.
Yeah, maybe that they just can't get the ball into the box to where opportunity at goal, or I think it's the first one. But I mean, if they're not to reevaluate how they're playing forward rucks, I think it's in the 90% of goals scored are inside sort of the 6-yard narrow and a bit further out, sort of to the penalty area. So goals are scored.
What was really weird is before the season, in Forest to be in that category of the teams that would go down.
Yeah.
They've got a 2-2 draw against Brighton, and Brighton are in a really weird. They're brilliant or rubbish. Every time Brighton appoint a new leader, Herzler, they seem like they're going to do all right. Forest finishing. Do you think they'll falter away?
They're not going to go invincible, no way. But I think they'll do well pretty much every season at the start of every year, because their team, I think it's looked good for the last 2-3 years. I can see them finish table just simply because of the competition around them is
Brighton. Let's put them in the same category as Newcastle. Started in fairly decent form, but Newcastle then dropped away. Higher, Asia.
Oh,
Bad.
I think I'm going to go Brighton, actually. One of 4 teams still unbeaten this season. Look good. I know what you mean. They're a bit hit and miss. But yeah.
They're unbeaten until this weekend.
Yes.
They've then gone to Craven Cottage, like, the former Arsenal brigade. Bro, what a footballer. With the injuries and sister Arsenal, have Arsenal made a mistake?
of course. But at the time, I thought it was the right decision. He wouldn't get in our starting 11, and when he played, the performance to be. This is what he needed to do. He needed to go and be main men in a team like Fulham, where he's valued as one of the most important players now. We can take us, and he can get a consistent run of games, build up his match fitness, his match quality.
Nil down to take 3 points off their rivals, Wolves. Of course, on the score sheet, as per usual, up against one of Europe's best in a few weeks' time in Bayern Munich. The fixture pylon will start to take its toll. I know I keep talking about how many games, but this Villa team, they look really, really good, and surely not going to be up there with the very best throughout the season.
They have looked brilliant. Yeah, like you say, Watkins, a meme of there was a meme of Messi quivering when John Duran comes on the pitch. So, yeah, quite there. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be really them face a team like Bayern Munich first. Might not be able to compete with them yet, but I think they're getting better and better each season, and I'm really excited to see what they do compete in Europe.
5 games in, which
player? Emil Smith Rowe has been up there, and I'd probably say Bournemouth and Antoine Semenyo. Some example of getting the most out of or efficient with the attributes he's got. He's just been on fire. Impressive, I think, for me, Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah, Forest have really impressed me as a team. I wasn't. They've got great players, like Chris Wood. I think also a shout out to Raul Jimenez for seeing him scoring goals again. And if he'd ever get back to his best after that injury, I really hope he does.
You're so wholesome.
Oh.
I tried.
Comments coming through before we wrap up.
We have people asking about Arteta's behaviour quite a lot, changing his behaviour or whether it's a problem throughout.
Camera there, Lewis just went. None of that.
Yes, and more about the sound.
Fine. All right, that's it for today. We will see you once the league really starts getting to heat up. Hopefully, we'll see you then.